In a haul video, you typically show things that you bought, but an anti-haul video, you're talking about things that you don't want to buy. Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gitte Marie and today it's anti-haul time, baby. I have been doing several anti-hauls, also reaction videos to the sort of the Amazon essential must-haves types of products that are absolutely and completely useless. And we're gonna continue down this path. I need to vent, I need to complain, sit down, grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine, I don't judge, and let's vent together. And actually you guys have played a very vital part in this video because I asked you guys on Instagram, what kind of products are you anti-hauling? And I'm gonna react to those today. Let's get started. The first one is holiday clothes. Holiday clothes are like occasion-specific attire. And I've talked about this many times, especially in my how to do Christmas more sustainably, that don't buy the ugly Christmas sweaters. Don't buy the occasion-specific clothes. The clothes that you can only wear for a specific event is so wasteful. We shouldn't be kidding ourselves. No one is gonna wear that Christmas 2022 jumper again. It's gonna end up in a thrift store where no one will buy it there, and then it's gonna trickle down through the thrift shop secondhand hierarchy of Europe until it ends up in a landfill in the global south. Also, I don't know about you guys, but if you want to wear some really ugly clothes for Christmas, buy a vintage one. They're so much more ugly than the ones that we make from new with the intention of being ugly. The next one is souvenirs. I have some nuance here because if what is meant by souvenirs is that any kind of tourist shop in any kind of city. I was recently a week in Copenhagen and like I don't buy merch from my own country obviously, but it's the same things. No matter where you travel in the world, it's sort of the same bullshit things. It's refrigerator magnets, it's like weird ashtrays, it's beer openers, it's shirts, it's small statues that look like landmarks, I don't know, but these are all mass produced in the same place. They come from the same factory in China or Bangladesh. If you want to buy a souvenir, buy something from a local artist, small craft shops, any kind of product that benefits the local community, because these chain stores that does merch or tourist souvenirs all around the globe, the money they make are not going to contribute to any local community growth. But I do like souvenirs. It's a different kind of souvenir. So every time I'm in a new city, I love to go to a thrift store or a vintage shop or an antique store. Bringing a useful item home to remember your trip by, go for it. I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but I 100% full-heartedly agree. Baby clothes. Someone submitted that they are anti-hauling any clothes for children, kids, and infants, which I definitely get. It's the easiest thing to find secondhand. It's the easiest thing to swap with other people because small kids grow out of clothes really, really easily. So you don't really need to go out and buy anything new. There are so many families that are super keen to get rid of the stuff that their kids can't wear anymore. I was so happy to see this on the list. Water bottles. We're done. Guys, we're done. I don't think there needs to be produced another water bottle ever. At least for 6 generations, we don't need any more new water bottles. They are everywhere. And it's so fun in thrift stores. You can often see the evolution of water bottles and what water bottles are on trend, because the previous trendy water bottle is already in thrift stores. And mark me, it will be like 6 months, then you will be able to see Stanley Cups in thrift stores as well. Capitalism is popping its pussy. These cycles of consumption are getting smaller and smaller. I also got an entry for anti-hauling chewing gum, and I love to see that because chewing gum is often something we don't think of as plastic or waste, but on average chewing gum contains up to 20% plastic. It doesn't really biodegrade because it has synthetic components in it. And you can also get gum from better brands. I know True Gum in Denmark are doing something, and I think there are similar brands elsewhere. I got a few of these, but the running vest or the hydration pack vests for running and exercising, a lot of people seem to be anti-hauling those, and I kind of see the idea of that. I also definitely see the appeal of them. They look very practical. It's not an essential and you can absolutely run without. Now I tend to run for exercise currently, but not for longer distances than I can just have water when I get back home. But I don't know, the vest seems very smart and cool. It's not an essential though, and I feel like we don't need to add all these consumer products onto something that's actually a pretty simple form of exercise. I love this one. You guys are delivering consistently. Arket, COS, and Other Stories, and I am very happy to see it, because that means I get to talk about the fact that H&M Group, which is a big fast fashion corporation, mostly known for their H&M stories, own a bunch of other businesses that you might not think would be H&M, but it's the same company that does the same bullshit, and it includes COS and Other Stories, Arket, I don't know, Monkey as well. There are a couple of other brands under the umbrella of the H&M Group, and it's very important to be conscious of, because it means that if you don't want to support H&M, you also don't want to be supporting these other companies. Love to see it. Tofu in plastic packaging. Why do you do this to me? Is this a flex? Is this a flex? I know for a fact that there are some stores where you can get bulk tofu. I don't have one of those stores, so if I want tofu, it's primarily in plastic. There is one option in a supermarket in Denmark where you can get it in glass, or you've been able to for a while at least. But I have just come to the point where buying tofu in a Danish supermarket is not worth my time. I go to the Asian supermarket because the quality of the tofu is so much better. So it's actually one of those things that I have decided to be okay with buying in plastic, because other options are either inaccessible or it will just not be good. Like, then I will just not have tofu ever if I can only get it in glass. And I actually haven't seen it in a while either. So it's sort of the only option on my end. I'm kind of okay with it, but if this is because you have bulk options for tofu, I'm very jealous. I am very, very jealous. Candles I've also talked about a couple of times. It's especially so because candle wax often contain ingredients derived from the fossil fuel industry. It isn't really amazing for your indoor climate to light it. I now have a couple of candles that I haven't lit in ages, and then I have 2 rechargeable electric candles. If you have candles, obviously use them if you want to. I'm not the boss of you, but there is definitely, and we sort of see the same thing with other types of decor, homey goods like this, where people overconsume them because there are companies that are constantly coming up with new flavors, scents, colors, like you get that, like the Yankee Candle craze, and it's very easy to end up over consuming. So definitely a good idea to scale down and refuse to buy any more candles. Go you. Here's something I actually didn't think about, but it makes really good sense. I don't think I've ever talked about this. I also, because I don't have a car, I don't use drive-through restaurants a lot on my bicycle. What? But someone wrote that they're anti-hauling the drive-through option at fast food restaurants because it's a lot more difficult to refuse things you don't need at the drive-through in comparison to when you go into the restaurant. And I think that's a really good observation. The vast majority of places where you have the drive-through option, you can also park and then go in. And I know that some places have reusable options for cutlery, plates, glasses, etc. when you go in, but you get it in disposable packaging when you use the drive-through. And overall, it's just easier to refuse the things you don't need if you're talking to a person face to face rather than on the monitor, small speaker. So that's actually a really good point. I got so many entries for skincare, so many different skincare anti-hauls, which overall, can we just stop it? I would like to include any kind of collagen skincare, scented perfumed skincare. I would like to include any sort of anti-aging cream. It's all fucking bullshit. There's nothing wrong with wanting to take care of your skin. That's completely understandable. What I don't like is the entire industry, the skincare industry, is pushing so many unnecessary products onto consumers. And they're also creating trends of new ingredients that we need to have in everything in order to keep selling products. Because then in a year, there'll be a new ingredient that needs to be added to everything. And we can just go like that. We can just continue over and over. I don't know if this is a callback to the first Amazon must-haves that are useless, where I talked about air fryers, and I got a lot of perspectives where people really love their air fryers, and that's completely okay. Like, this is my humble opinion. I did get an air fryer because I thought it would be essential. I got it off of Facebook Marketplace, and I use it. It's very nifty. It's better than turning on your oven. Like, it's like energy-wise, it's better. However, The craze is what we should be anti-hauling. If you have a small kitchen and you have to buy your own appliances, don't buy an oven, buy an air fryer, 100%. But it's the craze of suddenly now everything needs to be made in an air fryer. It's suddenly like you have to get this new appliance even though you had another option to begin with. It's so intense. I don't necessarily think it was the best purchase on my end, but hey, that's how we learn. Okay, this is good. So Nike shoes, this is good. Okay, so Nike is an awful brand. Nike doesn't pay its workers fair wages. Nike uses slave labor. I have a sports bra and a pair of running shoes from Nike, both secondhand. And in that regard, I don't really have quarrels with using it. I just don't want to buy things from new and give them my money. Another shoe related one, but the mesh shoes. I don't know if you've seen this trend. When I was in 7th grade, this was everything. Not to me, because I was an edgy emo kid who wore Converse. But all the cool girly girls wore these small mesh shoes. The mesh shoe is a piece of foam with mesh on it. It's very hard to make that last longer, for sure. And I recently saw someone on TikTok, like a Danish influencer, who said that she found a place where she could buy these mesh shoes and she could sell them to other people. She found a sweatshop supplier is what happened, and she got thousands of requests for these shoes. It's one of the most disposable pieces of clothing I have ever seen because it's designed to break. It's made from shitty materials and it's going to break. You're gonna pay money to wear this for a few weeks and then it's just gonna look so worn down. Also, I'm gonna put my 30-year-old thinking cap on now, but it's terrible for your feet. Like, wear something that benefits your posture, please. I was an edgy emo kid who wore Converse. New books, borrowing stuff at the library. 100% buy stuff from the library, like tons better. I have a lot of books myself. I have been an avid collector. I also buy things, yeah, pre-loved. But do we need all the books that we read to be our own? I feel like there's a point to be made here for audiobooks and library books. I didn't grow up in an air freshener kind of home. I don't have an air freshener kind of home now. I've never had that, both for like your house but also for your car. Any kind of air freshener, perfume, spray into the room to make it feel nice product has never been something that me nor my family has bought or participated in. But I did come to some of my friends' houses where they did this a lot and I never really understood it. They always, like my friends' parents, had these spray air fresheners in bathrooms and I never felt like it would mask the scent of someone pooping anyway. It just put more attention on the fact that there was poop smell right underneath the vanilla smell. So it doesn't really work, I feel like. I am anti-hauling this too, but in the way that I never really considered getting it to begin with. Also, the more scented products we surround ourselves with, the bigger the chances are of us developing sort of intolerances, allergies, etc. because this is not great. I have a whole video about the impact of perfume, so definitely go check that out as well. But yeah, air fresheners is a completely useless product. Also in cars, I feel like it's almost suffocating when someone has air fresheners in their car. This absolutely. Anything Stanley related, and honestly that kind of breaks my heart because originally Stanley was a cool outdoor brand with a really quality product. Everything was fine. And I don't know if it was the new marketing director, whatever the fuck happened to Stanley. So many tumblers in so many different colors, which sparked collections. Collections is just something that we say when we want to excuse overconsumption in a cute, quirky way. You're never gonna need 12 Stanley Cups, absolutely not. Anyway, there are also accessories to your Stanley Cup. This was actually on my list for the next Amazon must-have bullshitty anti-haul-esque video, but let's talk about it now. You can get an ice mold that fits perfectly into your Stanley Cup. No. Also love that someone brought up overpriced designer clothes. I also have some videos about this. Obviously, a lot of people said Temu, Shein, like, because it's very obvious that it's overconsumption. It's very obvious that when you buy something for $3, the chances are someone was paid fair wages to produce that thing. Next to zero. The thing is, a lot of these very exclusive luxury brands use the exact same sweatshops. They pay their workers the same absolutely inhuman amount of money to do this labor. Just because the price tag is 200 times higher doesn't necessarily guarantee sustainable production. The majority of the money you pay when you buy a designer item is the prestige that gets you, just the prestige of the logo of the brand, and it's their marketing budgets. So I'm linking a video down below about designer clothes and how awful they are and the human rights violations, and go check it out. And I can see that we're gonna end on controversy. Love it. Absolutely love it. So someone is anti-holding high protein processed foods, and I kind of get it. However, as a vegan, I fully appreciate fortified foods, both in terms of proteins, calcium, zinc, whatever. I think it's amazing that we're able to put nutrients into something that wouldn't necessarily have it. I know that that's probably going to be a controversial take in some context, but like whatever, that's what I think. The thing is, with food, just like with skincare, you're gonna see these trends, these movements. We've also seen sugar-free, that's been really big. Fat-free was, I think it was the 90s, was sort of like the fat-free craze, like did this have fat or not? Now things needs to be super high in protein. And I think it's really important to remember that a lot of the time where you see this on packaging, it's just gonna be marketing. It's just marketing. Look at the back of the product and see how much protein is actually in this and how that compares to other types of food in the same category. You might be able to find products where you get a buttload of protein, but for the most part, a lot of this is just marketing because now we're interested in gains. Beast mode. I'm not very cool when I do this character, but we're very interested in the high protein rich diets. So that's what we're seeing. Just like we saw fat-free, sugar-free, gluten-free, whatever, stevia. I totally get why you would tend to avoid these types of products because so often it's just marketing. And that's my controversial take. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone that submitted their anti-haul entries. I think this is a really fun way of doing it. Let me know in the comments down below what you are anti-hauling, or if there's any of these things that you are not anti-hauling, let me know why. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!